Hey, this is Karin at howtotap.com, and I have like a really special guest, my buddy Richard, who's my like encyclopedia. Richard Flook, richardfluke.com. He wrote Why Am I Sick? This is the old one. He's got a new one released with Hay House. You guys know me. And I wrote all the course books on EFT, 1, 2, level 3. So today we're just going to jump right into how I have a conversation with Richard. And he is my encyclopedia. And so I'm just going to start with, so you're like privy to our conversations. So Richard,
Yeah.
and I'll explain this after we do all this, what the heck he's doing rather than the first, because this is sort of like a magic trick. So Richard, what is alopecia?
Alopecia is basically, as you well know, is the hair basically coming out. But alopecia is all about a loss of one's touch. You know, like a grandparent might touch a child on the head, or you might stroke a dog. Well, if you lose that touch, especially on the areas where there's hair, then you will lose your hair. And it typically happens during the stressful times as well. So after you've maybe lost that grandparent, or you've lost the dog, or you've lost someone very, very close to you who perhaps used to just sit down and just touch your hair and stroke your hair.
So what am I looking for?
You're looking for that loss, that separation, that being ripped away, that touch basically from that person.
So it's usually a touch?
Yeah, usually a touch. It could be a touch with a dog, could be a touch with a grandparent, could be a touch with a parent. If you lose that, then the hair literally after the loss, the hair will start to come out in lumps, and it could just come out in the space where the person used to touch. So if they just did it on the right, or they just would, even tap you on the head, or just hold you, or as grandparents do this. I know they do,
Yeah, parents do it too. I understand.
And parents, yeah.
Okay, so just so you know, that Loretta Sparks, who's an EFT master, she says it usually has to do with mother issues. Is it not normally mother issues? Is it?
Well, it could be mother or father, depending on which side of the head it shows up on, because it all depends on our wiring. So if you lost, say, for example, a grandfather, it could show up, and depending on your wiring, if you clap like this with this hand's moving, which is the right hand, then it would show up on the right hand side. But if it was if it showed up on the left-hand side, it'd be to do with a mother.
So it does. This does have to do with wiring. So
yeah.
If it's one side, okay.
And like I also said, it could do with a pet as well, losing a pet.
So pet would more likely be, if they're right wire, to be on the left, right?
Depends on how you see the pet. Is your pet your child? Is your pet your friend? If it's your friend, it'll show up on the right-hand side if you're right-wired.
Okay.
Show up on the left-hand side if you're left-wired.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's do breast cancer.
Oh, fun! Yeah, joy.
Okay, so if it shows up on the right wired, let's just say left side.
Okay, so you've got a woman who claps right wired, so like this.
Could be left wired, so this is right wired.
Yeah, right wired. And I just quickly tell people how you do it. You just get the client to clap, and they'll go like this, and you'll see that's the hand that's moving. And that's really the best way to do it.
Because like some people who are even left-handed, they still clap like this.
Yeah, they would clap like this.
All that in your courses.
Yeah, it's also in the book as well.
Yeah.
And anyway, with that determines their wiring. So everything that happens on the right-hand side has got to do with father. It would be to do with friends or outside stuff. Yeah. Anything to do with the left is mother, baby, child, and that could also be one's business. Okay, as your mother, baby, business could be connected.
Love your business.
Yeah. So let's say we've got a woman who gets a breast cancer.
Right-handed.
And let's talk about she's right-wired. It's not right-handed, because you could actually be.
Yep. Right-wired.
It's right-wired. Now, with a woman in that particular situation, we're talking about the most common breast cancer, which is a ductal carcinoma in situ. Exactly. So it affects the ducts. So it affects you've got the meat of the breast, and it's the ducts flowing down to the end of the nipple. and if they've got a cancer there, then there are two basic stages. You've got the stressful event, which I'll talk about what that is. That is actually being brutally ripped away from the breast. A mother really understands this. Men don't quite get it. But you see, women...
Someone that you love being ripped away.
Someone you're being loved, in this instance, it will be a child. Could be their own
Most
child.
likely, yeah.
Could be their grandchildren. But literally, if a woman, the child is literally just pulled away from the breast. Women really understand this when I speak to them in this way, because women know that nurturing is inbuilt into them. To nurture, to hold a child, to hold someone close to themselves is what it's important to a woman. There's also another factor. The breast is the only organ that is purely and simply designed for another human being. Nothing else is. Okay, nothing else on the planet is, organ-wise. So that organ is for the child. And if, say, for example, that child either rips herself or himself away, or or even the mother rips himself away from the child, as my mother did, then the breast, she died of breast cancer. Then the breast is augments, it changes itself. And how it does it after the ripping away is you literally get a reduction in the cells of the ducts, so they become flimsier, lighter, and the reason why is so that more milk can pass down through the duct. So if, say for example, there's skin here, and then we lose part of that skin, the skin actually grows, the hole grows. I'm not making myself clear. So let's say this is this is a normal skin, but basically then the cells are taken away here and it opens up and gets bigger, so more milk can flow down the duct. And this happens while the woman is under stress, while she's thinking, she's obsessing, and often
it's theoretical. No milk is actually happening, but
no.
It just right.
But the body is getting ready.
The body's
to express the milk down to nurture and bring that child back to the breast. That's what's going on biologically, and it happens in animals as it does humans.
So two examples that I have, that because I'm thinking of clients, is one, she had breast cancer, left, and she's right wired, and I didn't know her much. She wasn't actually. She was a colleague in Brazil, and she said that she has left breast cancer. I said, "Are you right wired?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Did you lose any children?" I mean, just like that.
Yeah.
She's like, "How did you know?"
Right.
That's because that's the go-to fastest, easiest thing. I've had some other examples of which is not. It's so like there's a grandmother. She took care of her daughter's child. Mm-hmm. And then the daughter got out of, let's just call it drug abuse. Right. And so the child was able to be given back to the mother. And now the grandmother has breast cancer. And she says, but this is a good thing. She should be with her mother. And she doesn't realize that although it's a good thing, she has cared for this child for so long. And it's now taken away. Now she has breast cancer. So we need to go back and...
Yeah, let's also talk about exactly. Yeah, we do need to go back. We need to go back before the breast cancer showed up, because basically what happens is you've got the stressful time. During the stressful time, those ducts get bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay? Mm-hmm. Then when there's what I coined was a Udin reversal. A Udin stands for something that's unexpected, dramatic, isolating, where we have no stress.
Richard, you're getting, I'm sorry to cut you off, but you are getting into how disease works.
But this is important, because that point, that stressful event, which I coined was a Udin, the breast, you won't even see the disease. So this is where most practitioners, they get really confused. There's no disease, and then the breast cancer shows up. And it will take months for it to actually show up, for these cells to start to grow. And then the person says they suddenly got breast cancer. But this is after everything's been reversed. Okay? And that's important that people understand that there are two basic stages. Yeah, does that make sense? Is it too much?
This is just too much, because because what's happening is, and this is a good thing, because people need to know that there's a reason behind everything that you know and you're teaching, and that's like courses. That's
Yeah, right,
like,
okay.
workshops. That's like, teaching why this is happening. And what I'd like to do with this is just to show how much what they can do when they know this,
Right, okay. Yeah.
and so I don't want to teach an entire, that would be great, but we'd be here for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours.
Yeah.
So let's just go back to the magic.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Let's go back to the magic. Lyme disease.
Okay, Lyme disease is all to do with the thin layer of skin that goes around every single bone. And what it does is, ironically, again, it's this really deep separation from an individual, and it's
Is it always an individual, or is it
well, it could be a society, could be a group,
okay,
could be a place even.
okay.
And what happens is that thin layer of skin that goes around the bone is responsible for feeling of pain. In fact, you can actually feel it if you just take your arm and just literally press that on a bone. You'll feel the periosteum, it's called, and it's the thin layer of skin that goes around every single bone. And if you think what's happened is that skin attaches us to other people. Okay, that's very important. So if the periosteum's affected, then it's got really deep down into us. So someone is not, a bit like the breast, has pulled themselves away, but brutally, really unpleasantly, like, just said, I'm never having anything to do with you ever again.
Okay, so but Richard,
that's
isn't
how.
Lyme disease a mosquito?
No, what do you mean actually a tick?
A tick, I mean, yes.
Yeah, but
is Lyme disease a tick?
It is, you get it from the bacteria passed down to you from a tick. It's a deer tick, not a dog tick. And basically the tick has to be on your skin for over 24 hours. And so basically if you get bitten, you'll see like a bullseye rash. And this particular bacteria that's inside the tick is taken by the body and is then held inside the body. Now the body works in symbiosis with bacteria. We have for millions and millions of years. You have over something like 50 trillion human cells, but you have 500 trillion bacterial and fungal cells inside your system. Let's not get into viruses because that's another question. But essentially, you are naturally working in symbiosis with your outside environment. So the body would get a tick bite, take the bacteria from the tick bite, and that's what it uses to heal itself. Remember I said there are these 2 stages, that's why it's important. But with the periosteum, it's rather interesting because when we're under stress, the skin will hurt. And this bone skin, it will hurt, it'll feel painful. And then when it starts to heal, that's when the bacteria kicks in to start to rebuild it. Then it goes numb. Now the problem with this bacteria is thought now to have been genetically engineered and introduced into the wildlife. We don't quite know how, but it was introduced into the wildlife. And ticks basically were how it was introduced. So now these ticks are running around literally spreading all the way across the globe, and so they're holding this bacteria. Now this bacteria is very, very unpleasant because unlike most of the bacteria that we have inside our system, we work in symbiosis, it works beautifully. But this particular bacteria, as it starts to heal the bone, starts to heal the skin and rebuild it, it produces toxins. And these toxins are very toxic to us as human beings. So what then happens as a person starts to heal from the Lyme disease, the toxins come into the system, you get headaches, you feel like SH1T, you just cannot move, and it just totally stalls you. And so you're stuck. So you're stuck feeling in pain at the first bit, then the bacteria kicks in, you get all this toxins, headache, and you're stuck again. And you feel numb, and you feel mentally ill, so you just cannot move, you're stuck.
So what am I looking for?
You're looking for, the first thing is you're looking for that deep ripping away of it's a brutal, really horrible ripping away. It depends on where it is in the body.
It depends on where it is in the body?
Well, it could be, like we talked about, the left and the right-hand side.
Okay.
So it could be mother, it could be father.
So it's where they feel the most tiredness, or it's where
it's where it shows up in the pain. Okay. It could be all over the body. I mean, you could have someone literally being ripped away from their family, or ripped away from their country, or ripped away. Yeah, it could go everywhere. But most of the time, it sort of shows up in one particular area where they feel most of the pain. And that's what you want to be looking for. Does that make sense?
And I know that we're doing this really short stuff, and you're not,
Yeah, I know.
I know there's like an hour that you can do on each of these.
Yeah.
But I just want to give people an idea of how great this is and how we can use this to find out where things started from and what we're looking for.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's try do one more, maybe two more. How about let's do something. Let's do a bone. I had a client recently. She's right wired, has a left wrist break.
Yeah.
And when I saw, go ahead.
Yeah. So left wrist break. Again, this is like we talked about the wiring. So the left wrist, if you think about the wrist, quite beautiful because it moves in these amazing directions. So the question is, where did it break? Did it break up or did it break down?
Okay. So what happened to her is, I don't know how to explain it. The hand part went up and the wrist part went down. So if I saw an X-ray, it would look like the hand is up above the wrist.
Okay. Oh, I see. Right. So my guess is it went out like this. So this would mean then she was trying to push someone away. Okay. Okay. And because the wrist, and she didn't have enough flexibility, because look at the body. This is flexible. Okay. So what we have is now, it's the left hand, she's right wired, so it's to do with mother or child. Or
something she loves.
Or business that she loves, or something like that. And she's trying to push this person away, but hasn't got the flexibility to do that. And also the other factor is, this is all to do with the bone. Now, all bone issues are to do with our inner core. So she hasn't got the strength to do that. So when we're looking at this, not flexible enough.
Is it a belief? Because maybe she does have the strength, she just doesn't believe
it's not actually beliefs, it's about energy. So it precedes the beliefs, it precedes the emotions. Because, let me put it this way, an animal would experience the same thing. Now, could we go up to the animal and say, you've got a belief that you haven't got enough strength to deal with it? And beliefs are great, but they aren't the core of where it is.
Okay,
the core is here.
So it doesn't matter whether she believes she has the strength or not. Okay.
She doesn't have the strength to literally push this person away because she's not flexible enough. So she's inflexible. So she hasn't got the flexibility to go, get out of my life.
Which, by the way, this just makes sense.
All right, there we go.
Okay. Okay, so what am I looking for?
You're looking for the shock that occurred it goes back further when she made that decision. Now, the ironic thing is that when she broke the bone, probably about, usually 10 seconds, maybe a couple of minutes before the breaking of the bone, she made a decision. She reversed the problem. She energetically changed the whole problem. So she suddenly went, I am damn strong enough. I have got the flexibility. I'm going to do this to that person.
Okay.
And it could be a mental thing, but the energy will have shifted. Then she would have fallen over and broke her wrist.
Okay.
And
that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we have time for one more because you went through the wrist really fast.
Okay.
Which is great. Meniscus tear, right knee, right wired.
Okay, meniscus tear. So this is all to do with the cartilage. So this is a lighter issue. Again, it's about flexibility, but it's more about flexibility. It could be of two things. It could be to do with sports, which depends on how much sports this person does, or flexibility in one's life. And it could be to do with a relationship, And what I've discovered is that this often has to do with jealousy, that I can't be flexible enough with a particular situation. And this again is right wired, so it's the right knee. It will be to do with father, it could be to do with one's partner, it could be to do with one's business. It could be
partner though the other knee?
No, partner. Say for example with my wife, and I'm right wired, anything that happens with my wife, although she's female, happens on the right hand side. If it was my mum, it would happen on the left-hand side because that's my mum. Okay?
Okay.
But it's right wired, so she's my partner. Same with brothers and sisters.
It could be business if the business controls, or he's like controlled by business.
Yes, definitely. Or it could be a boss, and
A boss. Okay.
or it could be he's not flexible enough in some ways. Just sort of. If you think about what the knee is doing, it moves us around. It allows us to move forward. And if there's a tear in that cartilage, so it's actually not a big, it's not as big as the wrist here where you really break the bones. It's more to do with a problem. It's lighter. It's not as intense. So again, the tear, when the tear happened, would be that Uden reversal point. That's when the person went, I can deal with this. But there is a problem. They might sort of just half-heartedly say I can do it, and then that's why it becomes chronic, you see.
Okay, because we're repeating ourselves. Right?
Yeah, exactly. We keep going over, I am strong enough. Oh, well, I've got some doubt. Oh, I am strong enough. Oh, I got some doubt. I am strong enough. Oh, I got... No, and that's basically what causes a chronic disease to occur. Is you're sitting on the fence.
Well, Richard, I can't tell you thank you enough. This is so much fun. You're like my little friendly encyclopedia, and you help so many of my clients by just me asking these questions. So you have richardflook.com, and you have courses in this, and you're also going to come here to Philadelphia and do a whole day on this.
Yeah.
So I just want to thank you and just let people know to please go to richardflook.com. And again, thank you for all this. Because what are you, $1 million an hour? And so I just got.
No, I'm expensive, but only because I got to run a business and everything.
Yeah, don't we all? We all got to pay the mortgage. All right, much love, baby.
All right.
Thank you so much.
See you soon. Bye.